So I usually like to start by asking what you guys do and who you are and how you do your jobs, because sometimes you're not very well known. So why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Hi, I'm Carel Carpenter. I'm the CMO at ClearSlide. ClearSlide is a sales engagement platform, so it's used by salespeople to increase productivity when they communicate to prospects. And we are a high-growth company. We're about 240 people, growing quickly. So if you need a job, come talk to me. And always looking for great people to join the party.
And I am Dave Carroll. I run marketing at Bizo. For those not familiar with Bizo, we have a digital marketing platform that B2B marketers are using to do a couple things. To reach very targeted audiences at scale, and also to nurture all of their existing audience through multiple channels. I've been with the company a little over 4 years. I joined actually to build out the marketing engine. The company was pretty small, about 20 people at the time, with little to no marketing effort. And I guess fast forward to today, we're about a 150-person company. I have about a team of 20 people, spanning product marketing, marketing communications, demand gen, and sales development, a pretty sizable, fast-growing sales dev team who's doing all the marketing qualified lead follow-up. And happy to be here with you all. And
you were recently in the news as well.
Yes, we have been in the news, some exciting news.
So, one of the interesting things I think I've found talking to a bunch of people is what the organizations are like when you came in and how they've changed over time, right? Because both of you told me earlier that there was quite a bit of scale conversation and how things kind of grew and how you managed that, right?
For sure. Would you like me to answer first?
Sure.
So when I joined ClearSlide about a year and 9 months ago, there was essentially one marketing person. So it was, I don't know if you could really say there was that much marketing. This one person was doing it all. A little bit of everything. And I told the CEO pretty clearly, I said, if you want a marketing team, because I think a lot of small companies don't know really what they want, or they say they want a CMO, but really they just want you to come and execute a few programs, do a little PR, and that's it. I said, if you want someone to come in and just run up and down the stairs faster, I'm not your person. I can do it, but that's really not what I would want to do. I want to come here and help build elevators to get us to the 100th floor the fastest way possible.
And what do you mean by that? Let's break down that analogy.
So what I meant by that are not just the people. So my job, and I think most of the people who run teams, this is your job. It's 3 things: recruiting, development, and execution. And that recruiting and development piece is what I think we sometimes miss, because everybody wants to rush to execution. Hey, go do a press release. Hey, go drive some demand gen. Hey, get more leads in the funnel. But the building blocks and getting that right is what I meant. And in addition to the people, it's the processes, building out the marketing stack, the technology, and really building a system that can scale.
Got it. Dave?
Just building on, so 4 years at Bizo, when I joined, it was me and a couple contractors and a big vision. We had a fast-growing, few salespeople. I think the goal in building up marketing, I was fortunate. I had a CEO who really got marketing. Understand, we're not going to just keep hiring salespeople and give them quotas and hope to kind of take over the world. It was going to happen through scalable marketing. That's the way B2B businesses are built, today. So just from a contribution perspective, back then, it was all about trying to put in the right bricks at the right sequence. So even before I had hired full-time people, I had put in my marketing automation system with the right contract help. Before I started spending any money and budgets, I made sure I had good alignment with the few salespeople and sales managers, so those first leads would come in and we'd be able to grow quickly and do something with them. So fast forward today, marketing has been a huge part of how we've scaled. Far more than 50% of our new business is being sourced through marketing programs today. So it's really how we've been able to kind of keep the trajectory that we've had to date.
Got it. So where is it when marketing doesn't work? Like, marketing can't be everything, right? So what do you guys do in those cases?
You mean specifically when, what are the use cases where marketing can't wave the magic wand?
Yes, exactly, right? And how do you handle that?
I love it when people say, oh, we don't have any new product releases coming. Can you generate some buzz? And it's like, okay. I think we've all
I get plenty of emails like that.
Yeah, can you go make some news? So what I love about marketing, and I think most of us do, is that there's a lot of breadth and depth to what we do. And that's where this discussion around priorities, everything from, do you want brand and reputation marketing? Do you need more demand gen? Do you need more product marketing and sales enablement? And there's a whole spectrum of activities and priorities. And where I don't think it works is when the expectations are misaligned, where your board or your investors want more buzz, versus, hey, we really want more leads. So I think that's where it doesn't work. The other thing it cannot make up for is if you have a product that doesn't deliver value, you can only put so much lipstick on a pig. You have to have a product that delivers value today.
So I guess the way I would answer that, I think marketing can accomplish what you'd like it to accomplish as long as you know what you're after. So I think it comes down to marketing goes off the tracks really fast when you don't understand metrics. Before I go and invest in a new program, like what am I going to get out of it? And I think it comes down to attribution. Attribution is where a lot of us still struggle. And if you think about it, we have this long, again, from a B2B perspective, you're selling to a long B2B buy process where people we're selling to might be in that process for months or multiple years. Marketing needs to fill that gap because, there's statistics like Forrester Research has one where the buy process, 90% of that process is over before a salesperson has a chance to engage. So my team needs to fill that gap and to put our message and our content, our brand in front of people we're trying to reach early in that process as possible. Attribution is hard though, because it's relatively easy to measure programs that are touching someone very close to filling out that web form, converting on your website, or close to the purchase. It's relatively hard, or it traditionally has been, it's getting easier to measure programs that are reaching them earlier. So there's a trap, and I think this is where marketing goes wrong, and it's difficult. B2B marketers especially fall into what I call kind of the DR addiction trap. I'm going to invest most of my budget in stuff that I can measure, which may be paid search or SEO or email marketing. And then it's very short-sighted because it's very hard to scale and get the growth if you're not investing in who you're going to convert tomorrow, if you're only touching the folks that are ready to convert today.
So if 90% of the work is done before they even talk to a salesperson, does that mean that as a client, I'm suddenly seeing a ton more effort putting into marketing because that's where all of the effort needs to go?
Yeah, it's about good content. It's about education. So 10, 20 years ago, if I was looking to buy something, and I would use vendor salespeople to educate myself. What's new? What's the latest? I don't understand because I work in my
So they would call upon you and they would show up and say this, that, and the other thing.
But now because of the online, as a consumer or as a buyer of business services and products, which I am, I'm going to get most of my information online through my social networks. I'm going to go to my peers. I'm at these kind of venues. I'm going to talk to my peers and say, hey, are you using this platform? It looks pretty good. All that's happening before a sales rep. So it is up to marketing to shape that purchase decision with the right content at the right time and know who you're talking to.
So I agree with that. The only exception, and I've told you this before, is when people say, yeah, your buyers have already been through 57%, according to Forrester, or 90% of the buyer's journey. Slightly different if your product or your services are in a new category and you're doing a lot of education and missionary selling, because they're really not searching for you. They're searching for problems and how to solve pain points, but they're not. Like when I got to ClearSlide, no one was searching on ClearSlide. What is sales engagement? No one's searching on that or looking for that. So there is a bit of, and we've used Bizo actually for this. Here's my plug.
My plug, thank you.
We have used Bizo for this, which is that front end. How do you start to grow awareness of a category and then backing it up with great content marketing throughout the buyer's process? But you really need to stimulate, and people say, oh, provoke, what the whole challenger methodology, provoke, teach, blah, blah, blah. I call it stimulate, not provoke so much. It's about stimulating that interest to solve a pain point.
So, how do you get that flywheel started? Like, how do you get people to know what the heck it is you're doing if you're completely new? Facebook had the benefit of all of these college students jumping onto like, oh, there's the cute girl I was after in that party, right? So it was a self-fulfilling prophecy over time. But it's a lot harder when you're a B2B thing.
Yes and no. So I think the great thing today is that a lot of the ways we go to market are more B2C-like. So for example, at ClearSlide, we have our go-to-market motion is a land and expand. So we actually are talking to end users as if they were consumers.
So explain how that would look. Like, what is it like for me then?
So, hey, Mr. Customer or Mr. Prospect, tell me about how and what you're doing in order to increase your sales velocity. What are you doing to increase your sales productivity? Are you having the kinds of conversations you want to have? Are you doing pipeline generation the way you'd want to have it done? And if you get the reps to kind of say, yeah, I feel that pain, which is I'm not going to make my quota. I'm not going to be able to like buy what I want. They feel the pain, and then just we find that with a SaaS-based service, it expands over time, and then you come in with your enterprise sales process, and you can actually do the more complex sale.
Got it.
So there's this really interesting blend, I think you guys do it as well, which is it's a little blend of B2C, which is more around the messaging and the approach, and then B2B in terms of how you actually push them through, bring them through a journey.
So it's the difference of talking to me as a human being versus talk to me as a company.
Yes.
Yes.
There you
Well
go.
put. Well put.
Dave?
You know, I think I agree, but I think it's back to the journey. I want to, if you're not out looking for multi-channel nurturing products today, right? But you are struggling to support the sales numbers that your sales team is try to do the right marketing to support that. So it's up to me to understand where you are in your buyer's journey. What do you look like? Who are you? Are you in marketing? Are you in IT? Are you a senior person? Are you working in a Fortune 500 company? Understand as much as back to the data-driven theme that we've had a lot today. And then understanding where you are in your journey. To your point, I'm not ready to see a demo. I'm not ready to, I don't even know Bizo as a brand yet, but I have these problems. So I think it's having that mindset and mapping the right content to who you're talking to. And I think mapping has to do where they are in that process.
So how is data changing a lot of this stuff? I mean, obviously, places like LinkedIn tell you who I am and what kind of decisions I can make inside my organization. But how is this changing as a result of all that?
Yeah, so we use Bizo right now at the top of our funnel, which is to generate interest and awareness. And we're also using Bizo for more retargeting and along the way during the journey, and it's very specialized. I think the role of data is twofold. So there's obviously, we look at it as, okay, let's look at it for the macro trends, like what's happening with the customers in terms of segmentation, big segments, and I think everybody pretty much does that today. Like this group is doing this, so let's make sure we're gonna serve sales leaders this kind of content, or these sales reps, they have certain pain points, let's make sure we attack it this way. What I think is missing is the role of using small data to make big decisions. And what do I mean by that? Small data around specific prospects or customers. And this works more on our enterprise. We approach two different segments of customers, enterprise type customers as well as more SMB, smaller customers. On the enterprise side, having a more personalized touch and a personalized knowledge to make decisions about what do you really care about as a person, what are your pain points, and being very specific. So we're not doing broad mass campaigns, but very special, targeted, reference selling, understanding, and providing proof points that are specific to your business. And I know it sounds very unscalable. It actually can be very scalable.
I was going to say, it takes a lot of work to get that kind of information.
Well, it's a combination today of solutions like Bizo, ClearSlide, our whole marketing stack. Obviously, you have to have Marketo or Eloqua or something down here as well as a good database. But on top of that, if you can actually get to the level of activity and behavioral profiling, that's where you can do it at scale.
Got it. So Dave, what's the future of where this all is going? What is it going to look like in a few years?
It's my crystal ball. Yeah, so if I were to forecast, I think, even as I look at the growth that we've had just as a team and the contribution we've been able to have, I kind of give a lot of the credit to the systems, to marketing automation. Like I said, I put it in right away because I knew I wanted to scale every dollar I spent. When I got a lead, I wanted to do two things. I wanted to make sure I can segment well. Who are these people that are coming to our website? And I wanted to be able to, because I wasn't going to have like 50 people tomorrow to be able to running discrete programs. I needed to programmatically nurture them. So marketing automation in the last 10 years has really helped us to do segmentation and nurturing against our known audience. So I think the big limitation, which also suggests what's about to happen is happening now, is our known audience, people that come to my website and actually fill out a form. I think across, if you look at statistics, it's about 5% on average of our web traffic that converts. So all that nurturing power is against a pretty teeny part of the folks I care about, and I have 95% people coming and going, and I kind of don't know who they are, and I don't know how to message to them. So that's changing really fast. So there are technologies, we play in that, but there's a broad ecosystem that's working on that problem to apply same segmentation and nurturing to anonymous traffic. And that's where this, if you think we're in position to add, an impact to sales today, you ain't seen nothing, I think, in a couple of years, for sure.
Got it.
Well, I actually think marketing and sales are like converging in the sense of what is really selling. It's about communicating value to a prospect or a customer, and that's what marketing is doing more of. So you still need some touch, obviously, for big enterprise complex deals, but I just think the two disciplines are converging so closely. I don't know if we're going to have jobs in a few years, to be honest.
Eeks.
And here's why. Like, I look at, no, seriously, that whole, everybody talks about art and science and how much of your role is art versus science. And with the growth of data and the idea that you can make very good data-driven decisions now, and where is the art? And is a balancing act of that, I really think like the ability to kind of scale a business faster is here. So I don't think you need as much art and experience as you used to.
What are the parts that is missing that you still have jobs?
Well, okay, it's the people part, right? Anytime you have people, you need to have.
So when we get the robots working, you're done.
Yeah, for
Okay.
sure. But I think that the growth of data and being able to use data to make better decisions is absolutely, everybody knows it and faces it. I look at some of the younger people in our organization, their CPUs are just better. Like, they are so digitally and data-oriented naturally. The role of creative is still there. 10 years ago, it was mad men. Now it's like mad scientists. It's more mad scientists in what we do.
All right, so I'm a glass half full guy. So I think we're both employed for a while. And I think, and our teams will play a key role. I think it's about the competency. So whether you're someone who's leading a team or you're like leading a big part of the effort, I just think the things that you need to do to be successful have changed dramatically. Again, all this stuff we're talking about, data and systems and storytelling and content, that if you're fundamentally, as a leader or a contributor, three things. If you're technophobic and you're really kind of afraid to dive in and quickly, nimbly learn how to leverage a system, you're probably in trouble. If you're afraid to export data to a spreadsheet and just do some quick analysis, of course we'll have specialists in an organization who could do it better, but you kind of need to nimbly be able to figure out some things on your own. And then from a content development, again, we can specialize in organizations. I have content developers, but you want to be able to very nimbly, I got to get an email out, in a half hour. I need to be able to draft pretty good copy. So I think whether it's me or Karel, if we don't have some competencies or a sense of a vision around those things, or people on our team, that's this notion of modern marketing. I think it's kind of that.
And as a person receiving that, it's just going to be that it's better and it's more relevant to me finally. Is that what it looks like?
Yeah,
sure.
and that we understand your pain and we help. Our sales team will say, rip your face off, but I mean that in the nicest way. Like, really identify your pain point and uncover it and reveal it and create urgency so that you're willing to take action.
Cool. Anything else you wanted to bring up?
This is the most exciting time in my life, and I think this is the time to be in marketing, for sure.
And I would say, as you're implying how old we are, but we're not that old. We're not
Speak
that
for
old,
yourself,
right?
Yeah.
It's really interesting. I look at the last 4 years of my career, and I just have learned, you kind of start to plateau, you think, in a function. I have learned and stretched more in the last 4 years because of how much change is going on. So I agree. Most exciting time to kind of be, in the world of marketing, for sure.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.